Test, 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 test. Welcome, Hornet Nation, to a Saturday edition of your Bantam Hornet Hockey. We're coming to you live from Austin, Minnesota at Riverside Arena, a real old-fashioned barn that looks awesome, where we will be taking on Mankato. Mankato is currently ranked like second in the state, or third, not sure, behind Warroad. When we were up in Roseau, we had a tough time with Warroad, so we're expecting a significant challenge today. The drive down was nothing short of a lunar rover trip across the regolith of an alien planet with snow blowing across the road, which made for a longer trip, but we got a doubleheader coming your way, because first we take on Mankato, and then we take on the namesake Austin. So strap yourselves in for what should be an entertaining morning of hockey. So we're just moments away from puck drop, and we'll be back. All right, we're going to start out this tilt with Nolan, Bergmeyer, and Ferrara, backed up by Mizzelt and Darlene. We got the quick stir in net, and here we go. From the backside, Darlene looks up ice, slides it up just past Bergmeyer, all the way down. And I'm not sure what the nickname is for Mankato, so we're just going to go with the Mavericks. Mavs look to break out. Thwarted pass as the Mavs cycle behind the net and throw it up on the far side wall. With speed now, working through the neutral zone, gaining on the right side, Mavericks rolling. Stopping at the point, looking huge guy. He's huge, look at him. He's a skater of ample carriage, because he's not only tall, but he's big. Keep an eye on him. Hornets exiting the zone, pitching it up to Darlene. Darlene gaining on the right side, streaking down. Met by a Maverick player as the Mavericks turn course and roll back the other way. Good stop by Dorsey as he holds the zone as most of the Hornets go for a line change. Up on the far side wall, Kavita in. Nice stop by Wilkins as he throws it back down behind the cage. Good pressure by the Hornets early on. No score for those just joining. Ivany throws it out into the slot. Picked up by the Mavs as they dish it on down. A foot race as Helmer now has to sweep this one. He's plowed into Quickster. And we got a stoppage of play as another huge guy on their team. Should have started with a huge guy report because they got two of them, if not more. So we'll get a face-off just outside the Hornets zone. I think we went with 17-minute periods because there's 15:44 on the clock. A shot fired wide as the Mavericks now press, holding it at the point, rolling across the blue line. Dishing it down into the near side corner. Helmer meets his man from behind the net. Centering pass deflected as the Mavs try to establish presence in the corner. Dorsey in, disrupting play. Loses his stick. Picked up. Mavs working it. Now thrown back to the point. Slips out all the way to Kavita. Kavita gains on the right side. Walks in. Fires a shot into the skates of the Mavs as the Mavs counter on a Hornet line change. Working across the blue line, trying to leave the puck. Nothing doing, as they got to curl and slide back. Dished up on the wall. Wilkins tries to bang it through. Comes away. Potts loses it, but it's picked up by Potter. Potter through the neutral zone. Gaining on the right side. Long shot. And gloved away by the Maverick tender. Puck cycles to the near side corner as the Mavs try to break out. Holding in the zone. Comes into the slot. Nobody home as Nolan chases it across the ice. From the backside, the Mavs slide a rink-wide pass. Sneaks down. And we will get an icing. We may be missing Ivany. I'm not sure. As I scan the bench, as Nolan set to take the draw with Ewers and Hester. Potter and Potts backing him up as the Mavs chuck it out of the zone and Potter gives chase. Potter cleans up on the backside as he cycles around the net and looks up. Off the glass. Mavs can't hold, but they do get it back and punch it down. Intercepted by Potter. Potter looks across. Hassled by two Mavs. Right on shot there. Stopped by Potts as he looks... Tries to get it up to Ewers. Ewers now bangs it up. Nice to Hester. Poke checked right at the line. Mavs walking in on the circle. Intercepted by Potts as he slides it across to Nolan. Nolan enters the zone. Looks across. Firing shot. And that's out of play. Well, I can tell you right now, I don't see the Mavs ever overtaking the number one slot because Warroad was in a class all by themselves. But who knows? Maybe it's just early morning hockey. As Dorsey, Bergmeyer, and Ferrara roll on with Mizzelt and Darlene. Nolan off the draw. Mavs come away. 2-on-2 situation brewing. Darlene lines him up, stands him up, cycles the puck around to the near side. Ferrara reversing course, looking up ice. Hassled by a Mav. As Dorsey now pulls the trigger, slides it over to Darlene. Darlene punching it into the Mavs zone. Collected from the backside, they slide it up on the far side wall. Bergmeyer intercepts his man. Dorsey, a shot that goes into the Mavs. Skates. Good pressure by Ferrara as he holds his man behind the net. A hand pass, that should be called, but no. As Dorsey's on the far side wall, dishing back to Darlene. Long shot. Slides out in front. No one home. Mizzle can't contain the zone. Darlene looking for a lane. Sliding back, looking. Waffle pass to Mizzle. Mizzle slides it down into the Mavs end. Bergmeyer gives chase behind the net as the Mavs with speed punch it up the wall. Wilkins holding on the line. Well done. Punching it in, but stick checked away by the Mavs as they try to roll through. But Wilkins is persistent. Look at this. And Kurvita knocks it into the Mankato fan base. With 12:43, there is no score. All right, Nolan, Wilkins, Kurvita facing off against a huge guy. Backed up by Bauer and Helmer. Puck slides back. Here's an opportunity. Nice check by Helmer as he thwarts that play. Wilkins from the near side wall. Banging the puck up. Loses the handle. Here comes the Mavs. Walking in. Firing. Saved by Quickster. Nolan on the draw. Puck tied up on the dot. Nolan kicking it with his foot. Helmer chucking it up the wall to Wilkins. Wilkins sliding up, intercepted right on the line as the Mavs hold the zone. Working in from the circle, sliding across to the point, firing a long shot. Turned away by Quick. Kurvita on the wall, banging it up. It slid back down as the Mavs cycle. Held on the wall. Bauer holding his man. Kurvita comes away. Kurvita hassled. Tries to slide it across. Intercepted by the Mavs as they go back to the D and go D to D. On the line. Wilkins tried to pickpocket. Sliding rink wide. Here come the Mavs. Rolling across the line. Throwing it down into the zone as Quick stopped it short. Helmer working with his man. Kurvita in there banging. Kurvita on the wall. Hacking away at two Mavs. Helmer from the corner. Sliding it to the near side. Wilkins contests. Mavs holding it. Comes away. Karita. Can he get there? Yes. And he pitchforks it down as the Hornets go for a wholesale line change. From the backside, Mavs now with speed, working it around Dorsey. All the way through the neutral zone. Hester can't find his man. A looping shot deflected. Mavs from behind the cage. Looking to center this pass. Held up by Potts. It's thrown up on the wall and contained by huge guy. Potter from the near side. Trying to pitch it up. Doesn't quite get enough wood, but here's Ewers. Rolling in. Ewers stick checked away. He had a break there. Dorsey from the corner. Pops it past his man. It's held on the corner. Ewers in, trying to dig it away. He got it. Can he? Oh, he tried to center. Now Dorsey slides it back to Potts at the point. D to D over to Potter. Potter from the point. Firing. Oh, there it is. Nothing. Yes, yes! Oh, yes! Did you see it? I didn't see it, but it's in. It's Ewers, I think. But Potter's leading the charge, so it could be Potter. Potter on the board. Hornets 1-0 with 10:41. I'll have to review the tape on that. As Dorsey, Ewers, and Hester line up. Mavs come away, gaining on the right side, reeling in. Potter holding his man to the outside. A very quick guy off the clanker. Potter from the corner trying to drive his man back. From behind the net, Mavs centering out front. Traffic. Dorsey comes away. Dorsey with speed through the neutral zone. Wheeling up, gaining on the left side. Pitching down, intercepted by the Mavs as they try to punch it out of the zone. Now, 3-on-2 situation. Mavs have numbers as they cross the line, looking for a lane. On the dot, firing, saved by Quick. As Nolan, Ferrara, and Berge come on, backed up by Mizzle and Bauer. It's nice to see the Hornets out front for once. Off the draw, Nolan ties up his man, and the Mavs control and send it down behind the cage. Mizzle boxes his man out in the near side corners. He tries to punch it up. Nolan up to Ferrara. Stolen away, but stolen away by Nolan. Contested across the line. Bergmeyer punches it down into the Mavs zone. And indeed, we have an icing. So it's 1-0 for those joining. 9:50 on the clock in the first frame. Nolan off the draw, swept away by Darlene, who pitches it to Mizzle behind the net. Mizzle slides it up. It's intercepted as Ferrara now tries to counter up. Here's a break for Mavs as they roll in on the dot. Swept away by Ferrara on the wall. Back to the point. Huge guy goes D to D. Bergmeyer in pursuit, trying to hold his man to the outside as they wheel in. Held at the point. Swept back down into the corner. Darlene picks it up, tries to punch it across. Now Mavs trying to center it. Swept away, but it's on the circle, firing. Deflected back. Mavs, furious action. Ferrara trying to slide it up. Held, but it sneaks out of the zone, and the Mavs will have to reset. Bergmeyer tying up his man. Mavs finding some daylight as they go rink wide. Darlene slaps at it, but the Mavs are persistent as they gain the zone. Nolan working his man to the outside. Darlene using his body, corralling that puck. Mavs from the corner. Look at Darlene, very physical. Punching it up, gets it up to Ferrara. Ferrara now. Hassled trying to slide it across to Bergmeyer. Still in pursuit as the Mavs go D to D and now stretch across to the right side and punch it in. Helmer from the circle, slides it to Bauer. Bauer up to Kurvita, missed on the pass as the Mavs counter at mid-ice. Now rolling in, trying to throw it down. Bauer throws it into the corner and slides it up. Kurvita trying to chip it up the wall, no doing. Sliding across, right in the slot. Hornets contest. Helmer throws it to the near side. Wilkins now punching it up. It's held on the line, deflected as Bauer contains on the backside. Mavericks go D to D as they look for a lane. Sliding it up on the right. Puck is sent down into the Hornets zone. Bauer sliding it to Helmer. Helmer from behind the cage, looks up ice. Wilkins all the way to Dorsey, knocked off his stick, but Wilkins is the trailer. Holding it at the line, up to Dorsey. Dorsey pitches it in. He had a lane. He should have taken that. As the Mavs look to counter from behind their cage. Up on the wall. Mavs from the backside, looking for a lane. Up in the neutral zone, Dorsey disrupts play. From the backside, throws it to Potter. All the way up to Hester. Hester gains the line. He's trying to work his way around. He's trying to center it. Look at that. And the Mavs take over as they look to break out. Held on the line by Potts, who throws it back down. Mavs crank it all the way around. And Potter can't contain it, but this is waved off. It's Potter, long stretch pass up to Hester. One time is intercepted by the Mavs as they gain the zone. Holding on the line, Hester working it. Nolan working it. Everyone's working it. Hester punches it down and pursues as we get an icing. Hey, we're in Austin. You know what that means. You know what's for lunch? We're all going to eat Spam, and a lot of it. With 6:52 on the clock. Nolan on the draw. Puck comes away to Potter, who throws it up the wall. Gets it to Nolan. Nolan's streaking. He's gaining. He's got Ewers. Firing shot. It's in the uppers. Did you see it? And the Hornets have found the back of the net again. 2-0. As Nolan fired it into the uppers on a 2-on-1 situation. And this game is starting to be interesting. So much for rankings. Mavs come away off the draw, gain on the right side, roll in. Mizzled holding his man to the outside. Pins his man to the boards as he throws it up to Hester. Hester now chipping it up the boards, but held by the Mavs as they punch it right back down. Darlene meets his man in the corner. Darlene against a huge guy. Look at that. Look at him. He's rumbling. They punch it down, and it's just trying to chisel it up that wall, and they finally get it out to Ewers. Ewers racing. He's got Hester rolling in. Ewers firing. Oh, did you see that? Goal after goal. Ewers buries it. And it's 3-0 with 6:12 in the first. Maverick players consoling their tender as the Hornets have fortified a commanding lead here in the first. Dorsey off the draw, comes away to Darlene. Darlene pitches it down onto the Mav tender, who releases. Ferrara in, trying to disrupt the breakout. The Mavs now with speed rolling through the neutral zone. Mizzle working his man, holding him to the outside. A centering pass deflected by Darlene. Mavs from behind the cage, looking from the wall, looking. Trying to chip it up into the slot, looking across, back to the point. Back to the point again, looking. Curling, turning, burning. To the wall, on the circle. Out front, swept away by Mizzle, who fires it up the wall. Held at the point, long shot. Waffled away by the Quickster. Hornets trying to gain possession. Now up on the wall to Bergmeyer. He tries to chip it up, but it's held. Another long shot sticked away by Nolan. Long clearing. And this one goes out of play as the Hornets need to regroup. As Dorsey and Bergmeyer and Ferrara are backed up by Bauer and Helmer. Dorsey to the right of Quick. Off the draw. Puck comes back to the Mavs point. Trying to fire. Disrupted there by Bergmeyer. Well done. Held. Disrupted by Dorsey. Mavs still pressing behind the cage. Trying to center. There it is out front. And they finally connect. on a nice centering pass and cut the lead to 3-1 with 5:06 in the first. I don't want to bring up the B word, but it rhymes with breakout. Hornets have to focus. Off the line, Mavs come away on the near side wall, disrupted by Wilkins, who pitches it down into the Maverick end. From the near side corner, Mavs reverse course, look up ice with speed, rolling through the neutral zone, gaining on the right side. Potter holding his man to the outside as the Mavs stop short. Back to the point. They go D to D, looking for a lane. Firing shot, turned away by Quick. Kavita on the corner. Stolen away by the Mavs as they go around the circle. Back to the point. Another shot, firing over the net. Back to the point again. Mavs are pressing. Held down. Hornets need to gain possession. From the corner. Banking back to the point. Looking across. It's out of the zone. Well done. Wilkins pinches it up the wall, but not quite in the position for Nolan. Knocked down by Potts as he rolls and he gains in the center. Slides it to Wilkins. Wilkins firing wide. Curvito one-time cranker. Sticked away by the Mav tender. Puck punch out in the neutral zone. Mizzle's got to hurry on this one as he pitches it up the wall to Nolan. Nolan sliding to Wilkins cross ice. Wilkins pitching it into the zone, and the Hornets go for a line change. Mavs from behind the cage looking up ice for the breakout. Disrupted by Dorsey. He holds his own. Well done. Gets it to Hester. Hester rolling in. Hester firing. Nothing. Back behind the cage. Now Mavs look to punch it out of the zone. Rink wide pass. Rolling up. 2-on-2 situation. Now Hester back. Out front. Steered away by Ewers. Trying to get it to Hester. Trying to get it to Dorsey. But the Mavs contain on the backside. They look to counter as they roll it through the red line. Dorsey back on the back check, holding up his man. Still in the slot. Boys, got to gain possession. Pinched up at the point and thrown down into the corner. Skipped a stick and Mizzled from the near side. He just rolls it out, but it's gloved down by the Mavs. They have an opportunity to hold at center ice, but they go back to the D. A D-to-D pass. Pinched up by Mizzled. Thrown down into the Hornet zone, and Darlene picks it up in the far side corner, throwing it to Mizzled on the near side. Back to Darlene behind the cage. On the breakout for Ewers, trying to slide it up to Dorsey, pinched by the Mavs as they hold the zone. Mizzled ties up his man behind the net. Blasted to the near side as they go back to the point. Mavs rolling across the blue line. It's out front. Mizzled sweeps it away. And Mizzled chucks it all the way down for an icing and a line change with 2:24 on the clock. And a 3-1 lead for the Hornets. So Nolan, Bergmeyer, Ferrara, backed up by Bauer and Helmer. Tied up on the dot. Mavs drive in. Take a shot over the net. Defense pinching up. Ferrara now from the corner. Slides it over to Bauer. Bauer up to Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer chisels it up the wall, but he's stopped short. Punch back down. Bauer sliding to Helmer. Helmer from behind. Up to Ferrara. Ferrara throwing it up to Nolan. Nolan tried to get it over to Berg. Nothing doing, but punch down all the same. Mavs from behind the cage. Intercepted almost by Bergmeyer. Long stretch pass as the Mavs counter. Rolling down on the right side. Helmer trying to hold his man to the outside, tying him up into the slot. Punched away. Helmer chipping up the wall. Defense pinches and holds. Back down to Helmer. Helmer, long stretch pass. Nolan now rolling, looking through the neutral zone. Sliding it and just punching it down on the Mav tender for a line change. Mavericks counter. The minute and a half left in the period. Rolling up on the wall. It's sent down into the Hornet zone where Potter gives chase and bangs it up to Potts. Potts looks across. Slides it over to Nolan. Nolan looking up. Long looper on net. And held by the Maverick tender with 1:06. So Dorsey, Kervita, Wilkins. Potter, Potts. Off the draw, the Mavs send it around the near side. Potter holds on the line. Pitches it down to Wilkins. Intercepted pass as the Mavs now counter. Dorsey doing a good job disrupting play, but the Mavs contain and roll across the line. Sliding it down into the corner. Potts meets his man and ties him up smartly. Dorsey in to help out. Boys all piled up in a scrum. Mavs come away. Try to send it back to the point. Kervita intercepts. Kervita on the right side. Blasting through. Can you get there, Kervita? No. Mavs now countering back the other way with numbers. Rolling 3-on-2 is a gain on the right side. Walking across the slot. Centering pass does not connect. Another centering pass deflected away as the Mavs work from the corner. Now driving into the slot, swept away by Wilkins. Well done. Dorsey from behind. Looking up ice. Sliding it to Wilkins. Wilkins tries to punch it out. Held on the line. Swept back down. Dorsey on the wall, working it. Now sliding, but contained by that pesky D. Dorsey trying to slide it up. Blind pass, boys. Come on. Kervita on the far side, and that'll do it. 3-1 Hornets. We'll be back. All right. Start of the second. Fresh 17 on the clock. Hornets up 3-1. Mankato's shown some life in the back half of that first period, putting the Hornets on their heels. We'll see how the Hornets respond with Nolan, Hester, and Ewers on the line, backed up by Darlene and Mizzle. Off the draw, Mavericks send it down into the Hornets zone. Quick stop short, throws it over to Ewers in the near side corner. Mavs controlling, back to the point. They look across, go D to D, firing a shot. There's the rebound, stopped, and they punch it through. Initial save by Quick. No one out front to sweep that puck away. And we have a different game on our hands with a Hornet lead cut to 1 at 3-2. Off the draw. Puck sent down into the Hornet zone. Darlene chases behind the net. Looking up. Sending it to Ewers. Ewers tried to roll it up the wall. Now from the slot. Firing shot. Right out front. Tip. Swept away by Ewers. Ewers from the corner. Another centering pass. Hester tries to get it up to Ewers, but it was on his backside. And it's all the way down for an icing. It's an awesome arena. old barn, complete with a disco ball. Dorsey, Ferrara, and Bergmeyer are backed up by Bauer and Helmer. On the line, firing shot goes high. Bergmeyer chases on the near side wall. Chips it up, contained by the Mavs as they go D to D and look up ice. Through the red line, gaining on the right side. Huge guy working his way down. Now to a smaller guy. Helmer from behind the net, trying to punch it up. Thrown up to, Bergmeyer on the wall. Bergmeyer racing in. Bergmeyer looking for a centering pass. Taken out. As the Mavs counter back the other way with numbers. 3-on-2 as the huge guy rolls in. Looking for a shot and a goal. Don't look now, but this game is tied 3-3. With 15:38 in the second. So to undo the damage, we got Nolan, Kervita, and Wilkins backed up by Potts and Potter. Off the draw, Potter goes D to D to Potts. Potts looks up ice, gets it to Nolan, who swings it over to Wilkins. Wilkins powering down. His shot is deflected as the Mavs counter back. They go rink wide, rolling through. Potts disrupting play and holds at the red line. Kervita now walking in. Kervita centering across, deflected, but Nolan picks it up as a trailer. Throwing it down to Wilkins in the corner. Wilkins looks. He's tied up. Still working it. He's got that long stick. Nolan trying to shovel it across to Kervita. Kervita, can you get there? Out front. Nolan firing. Nothing. Goes wide. Wilkins firing out front. Just off the stick of Nolan. Hornets trying to hold his own. They punch it right back down. Mavs from the cage, now with speed, rolling up through the neutral zone, gaining the line. Nice stick check by Potts. A shot, a dangerous rebound as Kervita picks it up on the near side. Rolling through the neutral zone, with speed, rolling down, trying to toe drag. Stopped by the Mavs as they counter back the other way. Nolan holding his man on the wall. Potts trying to roll. Mavs just walking through. Potts punching it up, hits the ref, held in the zone. Long shot, gloved away by the Quickster. As Dorsey, Ewers, and Hester roll on with Mizzelt and Darlene. Puck tied up on the dot. Mavs come away, send it to the point. Trying to center it down. Now up to Ewers. Ewers, 1-on-2, trying to roll in, punching it across the line, and sending it down into the Mavs zone. Held on the line. Dorsey bangs it back down. Ewers pursues in the corner. He's boxed out as the Mavs look to break out. Good pressure by the Hornets as they hold it down deep. Swung to the far side. Huge guy looks up ice. Rolls around with speed. Trying to work his way through the neutral zone. Knocked off the puck. Intercepted by Hester. Hester pitches into the zone, and the Mavs punch it right back. Darlene from the backside. Cranks it up. No connection on the pass. Mavs now breaking across the line. Trying to roll around the circle. Darlene holding in the outside. And a save by Quick. So Nolan, Ferrara, Bergmeyer, Helmer, Bauer. Firing shot goes wide, but contained at the point. Mavs now throwing it down into the corner, intercepted by Helmer, who punches it up. Ferrara sliding it across to Nolan. Nolan over to Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer gains on the right side. Long shot, sticked away by the Mavs tender. Ferrara now wheels his way across the line. Slides it back, intercepted. Now Mav breaking. Bauer, last man back. Tries to hold his man. Tries. And the Mavs have now taken the lead 4-3. And a low, sneaky shot that slides past Quick with 13:05 on the clock. as Dorsey, Kravita, and Wilkins roll on with Potts and Potter. How will the Hornets respond? I don't know. Off the draw, puck tied up on the dot. Mavs come away and gain on the right side. Punching it down behind the Quickster. Thrown up on the wall. Wilkins now trying to roll up. He's pinched on the wall, and it's sent right back down. Potter from behind the cage bangs it up the wall. Kravita now from the near side. Sliding it up to Wilkins. Wilkins on a break. Wilkins, you can do this. Firing it to Clanker. And up into the webbing. Yes, Wilkins. No, Wilkins. Tried to go upstairs. As we'll get a face-off to the left. But the Mavs tender. Puck slides into the corner, and the Mavs try to send it around. Dished up, stopped by Kravita. Behind the net, Wilkins battling two Mavs as it's punched into the corner. Kravita in to help out. Kravita comes away, trying to center it. There it is, banging, clanking. Nothing. Kravita. That's two clankers in one shift. Good clankage. Dorsey comes away, working his way in. Looking. Tied up by the ref as Wilkins takes up the cause behind the net, trying to center it around. It's banged up the near side. Bergmeyer tries to hold. He can't. Comes away. It's Potts. Potts sliding it up to Wilkins. Wilkins chucks it in. Steered away by the Mavs tender and covered up. So both teams changing up their squads. As Nolan, Ewers, and Hester roll on with Darlene and Mizzelt. 11:54 on the clock. Boy, these 17-minute periods. Take it out of you. Nolan on the draw, sending it back. Mizzelt pinches up. He chisels it up the wall as Nolan meets his man behind the net. Mavs punch it up the far side wall. Thrown up, intercepted by Mizzelt. Held on the line, walking in, disrupted, and the Mavs counter back the other way. With speed, rolling through the neutral zone, gaining the line, trying to walk around Mizzelt. Mizzelt boxing him out. And covered up by Quick. Off the draw, puck comes back to Mizzelt. Mizzelt loses the handle. Mavs trying to center it. A lot of traffic behind that net. Darlene working the puck, just working it. Slides it up to Nolan. Nolan chips it up to Ewers. Ewers chips it up. A lot of chipping. Now Hester from the red line. Banged off the puck. Ewers working at it, scrumming at it. Up to Hester. Hester gains, walks in. He's hacked by a huge guy. Still holding, still firing. Centering pass does not connect. Good pressure by the Hornets as the Mavs work to chip it out. Now here's a break for the Mavs as they roll in. Darlene, last man back, loses the handle on the shot. Darlene picking it up, looking up ice, sliding it to Mizzelt. Mizzelt just punches it down into the Mav end, and the Mavs cover up. Dorsey, Ferrara, Bergmeyer, Bauer, Helmer. Off the draw, puck sneaks out of the zone, and Bauer sends it over to Helmer. Back to Bauer. Bauer from the red line, throwing it down into the Mavs' end. Bergmeyer punches it past huge guy. Picked up, now the Mavs look countering, rolling through, sliding through, gaining the line on the left side, walking in, stopping short on the circle, trying to center it, naked in the slot. Ferrara comes away. Ferrara now, just Ferrara. Knocked off the puck at the red line. Good job by Helmer to stick check that, gaining the zone, looking to center it across. Ferrara picks it up on the near side. Boxed out by a Mav. Three Mavs. The Mavs come away, back to Bauer. Over to Helmer. Or Bergmeyer. And Bergie just throws it down with less than 10 minutes to play. Ferrara battles in the corner. as the Mavs send it around to the far side. Elmer pinches up, throws it back down, and the Mavs cannot seem to get the handle as they just wing it out and will get an icing. So Nolan Kavita Wilkins, Potter Potts. Off the draw, Mavs deal from the corner. Trying to blast it up ice. They sneak it through, and Potter's last man back. Chipping it up the wall. Comes away to Kavita. Kavita gains the line, slides it across, just on the backside of Wilkins. Wilkins still maintains. Rolling behind the cage. Sliding it out front. Nobody home. As the Mavs break back the other way through the neutral zone, gaining on the right side. Toe dragging, walking through, sticked away, still banging, and in. Second, third, fourth. Gotta clear those, boys. As the score is now 5-3. After what looked like a walk-away win by the Hornets, is now a different story. But hey, we're in our comfort zone. We're down by a couple. Off the draw, Mavs come away and gain the line on the right side. Walking down, a little flutter pass, swept away by Potts, pitches it up the near side wall to Kavita. Kavita tried to get it to Nolan. Held one-time shot. What a save. That was a certified fresh cranker. Turned away by the Quickster. And we'll get a face-off to the right. Nolan on the draw. Banged up on the wall. Ewers working his man. Mavs sending it down into the corner. Swept away by Nolan. Pitched behind the net. Working it, working it. Both teams over skating. Mavs come away in the corner. Tied up nicely by Potts. Mavs looking to dish it. Nothing doing. Comes away to Kavita. Held. Banged away and sent right back down. Potter from the corner. Flips it up on the wall. Weird bounce into the slot. Who's going to get it? Coming away. Pitched away. So the Hornets got to start playing possession hockey. Puck fluttering in the air as it's now sent up. Contained. Rolling in on the dot. Firing. Beautiful save by Quick. And into the webbing. With 8:09 on the clock. And a 5-3 score in favor of the Mavericks. As Dorsey, Hester, and Ewers roll on with Darlene and Mizzle backing them up. Off the draw. Mavericks to the point. One-timer down into the corner. Mavericks controlling behind the net. Looking to center. Sliding it across. Now back to the near side corner. And back to the point. Mavericks seem to be dominating play these last several minutes. Controlling behind the net. Winging all the way around the zone. Wheeling, dealing, looking. One-timing it. Nothing. Stopped by Darlene. Darlene sliding it up to Ewers. Ewers across and intercepted as Hester tried to break for the line. Hester dishes into the zone, and a one-time pass sends it back across the line. Darlene holding his man to the outside, held up on the line. Here's a break for Ewers. Ewers storms up, gains the line on the right side. Toe drags across, picked up by Hester on the trailer, knocked off the puck, and sent right back down to Darlene from the backside. Looking up, tried to slide it across, right into a Maverick as it's banged across. Darlene on the breakout, trying to slide it up, picked up by Mizzle, across the line. Mizzle can't find the handle, gets it to Dorsey, one-timer, into the traffic, nothing. As the Mavericks counter back with numbers. 3-on-2 situation, stopped short by Darlene. Pitching it up the wall, and we get an off sides with 6:46. Nolan, Bergmeyer, Ferrara, Helmer, Bauer. From the backside, Mavericks go D to D as they look up from a lane. Held up short on the wall. Now through center ice. Mavericks trying to work it up. Helmer pinches it and chisels it up the wall. Ferrara banging away. Hornets doing a good job. Bergmeyer collecting in the slot. Down. Shot. Covered. Nothing. So Nolan, Ferrara, Berge, Helmer, Bauer. Off the draw, Ferrara sends it to Bauer at the point. He throws it across to Helmer. Helmer looping it in. Bergmeyer trying to bang it through. Nolan in the corner, working it. Sending it down to Bergmeyer behind the cage. Bergmeyer still working it. Slides it back the opposite side, and the Mavs work from behind the cage. One time up on the wall, Helmer against a huge guy. Sent down to another huge guy from behind the cage. Working it up on the wall. Bauer pinches his man. Holds the line. Comes away. The Mavs a little bit on their heels as they try to break out. Sliding up on the wall. Nice stop by Helmer as he rolls across the line. Trying to work his way in. Helmer against the entire Maverick team. Nolan pitching it down into the corner for Ferrara. Ferrara blows a tire against the huge guy. And we got something. A hooking call. And the Hornets will be on the man advantage with 5:31 in the second. Trailing by 2. So good sacrifice by Ferrara. He gets an extra ration tonight for his dinner. Nolan, Bergmeyer, Wilkins, Darlene, Ewers. Puck sent skittering down into the Hornet end. Darlene from behind the cage as the Hornets look to establish a breakout on this power play. Darlene with speed, rolling through the neutral zone, swept off the puck. Boys got to open up some lanes for Darlene. As he's doing yeoman labor, he blows a tire. Mavericks controlling in the Hornet zone. Centering pass doesn't connect. From the backside, Nolan looking up ice. Trying to slide it up, intercepted on the line and thrown right back down, and an offsides. So we'll try it with a different group of boys. As Hester, Kurvita, and Nolan roll on. Backed up by Bauer and Mizzle. Tied up off the draw. Mavs come away and try to dish it down. Bauer holding on the wall. Bauer comes away. Slides it over to Mizzle. Mizzle from behind the cage. As the Hornets have yet to penetrate the Mavs zone on this power play. Bauer, look at the speed. Rolling up, gaining the line, sliding across. Kurvita just couldn't handle it. Mavericks countering with speed through the neutral zone. Gaining on the right side. Rolling across the high crease. A high slot. Sent back down, Nolan disrupting play, but the Mavs hold. Pinned up on the wall. Kurvita from behind the net. Looking. Sliding up to Bauer. Bauer up to Nolan. Through the red line. Gaining. Looking. Stopping. Firing. Firing wide. Bauer from the point. Gives it to Mizzle. Mizzle slides it back to Bauer. Picked off by the Mavs as they blast it out of the zone. Good job by Mizzle. But alas, and offsides with 4:01 and 30 seconds left in the man advantage. I don't think this power play is going to make the highlight reel, people. That's Dorsey Ferrara. And Potter roll on. Interesting. Back to Potts. Helmer. Looking up ice, slides it up to Potter, sneaks it through, foot race, A lot of boys battling. Someone lost a glove. I don't know who's gloveless. Into the high slot. Intercepted. Helmer walks across the line. Looks. Fires. Wide. From behind the net. Ferrara looking around the circle. In front. Trying to get a wood on it. Nothing for Potter. As it sneaks out of the zone. And here's a foot race. Huge guy against small guy. Pushed down. Sliding across the ice. Dorsey's going to meet his man. Picked up by Ferrara. Ferrara tried to slide it up. Intercepted. Right in the slot. Mankato just can't get the wood on it. Dangerous. Both teams at full strength now. As Dorsey slides it up on the wall and he's pinched off the puck. Mavericks punching it back down into the Hornets zone with 3 minutes in the second. And we get an offsides. Not an offsides. We get an icing. As Nolan Ferrara, Berge come on. Backed up by Mizzleton Darlene. Off the draw, Bergmeyer sends it back to Darlene. Holding on the line? No, he does not hold on the line. And we'll reset with an offsides. Nolan on the draw. Slides back to Mizzle. Mavs punch through, gain on the left side. From the circle, looking across. Back to the point. Mavericks now send it back to the line as they try to drive into the crease area. Sliding up on the wall to Ferrara. Ferrara looks up ice. He's mauled from behind by a huge guy. Pinned up on the wall. Nolan banging it up, trying to center it across to Bergmeyer. Picked off just in time. As Nolan now slides it up to Ferrara. Ferrara, punch it through. Ferrara working his man. Mavs contain. As they punch it across and go D to D. There's an errant ball on the ice. It's now thrown back out. Darlene trying to hold on the line. He does. Well done. Trying to chisel up that wall. Working it. Ferrara in to help out. Boys scrumming. Slides across to Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer looking, and he just pitches it down into the far side corner. Mavs from behind the net. 2 minutes left to go in this period. Bergmeyer giving chase, trying to hold up the line. As the Mavs are pinched down deep in their own zone. Now the breakout. Mavs looking across. Right in the slot. Nolan! Oh, Nolan! Firing it high and wide. Thrown up on the wall. Nolan was all alone on that one. As the Mavs look to cycle behind the net, disrupted. Nolan now trying to drive it down. Sent to Kavita on the far side. Throws it back, intercepted. Now to Kavita on the dot, firing! Hits traffic. Kavita battling, so is Wilkins. Kavita trying to catch up to his man on the wall. Pushing hard. Helmer pinches up, but it sneaks past. Darlene, last man. Darlene cycles behind the cage. Throws it up to Kavita. Kavita now trying to slide it up to Dorsey. On Dorsey's backside, and it goes down for an icing. With 1:12 on the clock. And the Hornets trying to claw back a couple of goals. This stubbornly set at 5-3 in favor of Mankato. Face off to the right a quick. Dribbler, banging, still banging, nothing, comes away. Elmer from the backside, slides it up to Kavita, loses the handle, still banging at it, trying to get it up the wall. Sent back to Bauer and thrown up. Here's a break for Wilkins as he rolls in, 2-on-1. Kavita held up by the Mavs as they staunchly stop that play. Mavericks from the near side, throwing it up the wall, sneaks past. Helmer's got to pick this one up, trying to dish it up. Sent out into the slot. Nobody home as a huge guy races in. Throwing back to the point. One-time shot steered away by Quick. 35 seconds left. Mavericks centering it. Stopped by Bauer. Helmer pinching it up the wall. Kavita now rolling. Looking at his options. Swept aside. And back down into the Hornet zone. Dorsey from the backside. Looks across the crease. Curls around the cage. Sends it to Bauer. Up ice. Kavita now. Kavita. Oh, and it's stick checked off with 10 seconds to play. This looks like it's going to do it. Mavs punching it up the near side wall, intercepted by Bauer, who pitches it back the other way. And that's the period. As the Hornets are down by 2, 5-3, on what was a period that was dominated by Mankato. So we're going to get a resurface, and we'll be back in about 10. For what I'm told is going to be a massive comeback here in southern Minnesota on the border battle. All right, moments away from the start of the third period where your Hornets are down 5-3 to Mankato. Now, I have conferred with the Hornet coaching staff and have it on good authority that the Hornets plan to turn it up to 11 for this period. So we shall see if they have enough wattage to make the necessary adjustments to make this a contest. So Dorsey, Wilkins, Kervita, Mizzle, Darlene. Puck slides away to the near side as the Mavericks throw it on into the Hornet end. Darlene from behind the cage. Leaves it for Mizzle. Chisels it up. Kervita on the far side. Looks to blast it through, but he's stopped by a huge guy. Into the corner. Mizzle throws his man up on the wall. Kervita trying to punch it through. He does, but it's held at the point and thrown on net, but it goes wide. Kervita sliding up to Dorsey. Dorsey loses it in his skate. Probably some sticky ice as the Hornets try to punch it in. They go rink wide as Darlene sends it into the zone to Kervita. Kervita looking, sliding, firing, nothing. Kervita from the corner, again, right across the slot, no one home. Wilkins from the corner, looking, turning, burning, thinking. Back to Mizzle at the point, sliding to Darlene just over his stick. Weird bounce as the Mavs now counter through the neutral zone and punch it down into the Hornet end. Mizzle picks up the puck behind the net, cycles up to Wilkins. Wilkins holding on the line and throwing it down, and the Hornets go for a line change and an icing to boot. So we got Nolan, Ferrara, and Bergmeyer with Bauer and Helmer. Helmer retrieves in the corner, throws it up to Ferrara. Ferrara up ice. Long shot from the point. Hits traffic as it's thrown back to the other point. Another shot hits a stick and goes off traffic. Helmer tries to steer it up the wall. Now a good punch by Bergmeyer, and he races in. 3-on-1 situation. He's boxed out, but it's picked up by Helmer, who overskates. Mavs now looking to contain and break out. Nolan punches it down, but the Mavs are tough, and they break it back across the ice and now slide through the neutral zone. Throwing it down into the Hornet end. Quickie out, throws it up the near side wall to Ferrara. Ferrara across, intercepted by the Mavs as they punch across the line. Now rolling into the high slot. Waffled aside by Quick. Up on the wall, comes away to Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer chips it up the wall to Nolan. Can you get there? No, but Bergie's there. Held up on the line. Look at that. 28 guys all up on the line. Nolan trying to slide it across to the near side. Nobody home. And the Mavericks throw it down behind. Quickie stops it short for Helmer. Helmer sliding it up to Ewers, who gets it to Nolan. Nolan, Ferrara. Ferrara now trying to sweep it across the line. He does. Gets it over to Ewers. Ewers fires. And it's saved by the Maverick tender. Good little series there. Good sequence. With 14:34 on the clock and a 2-goal deficit at 5-3. Dorsey in with Ewers and Hester, backed up by Potts and Potter. Puck can't be contained in the zone. Potter streaks back and throws it up on the near side wall, intercepted by the Mavs. They look to punch it out, but Potter stops him short, slides it around to Hester. Hester streaking in, but it's picked off by the Mavs as they cycle behind the net. Now with massive speed, rolling through the neutral zone, all the way down. 2-on-1 situation, rolling in, high over the net, losing another glove. It's a yard sale out there. Now from the point, Mavericks gets punched up by Hester. Good job. Or Noah. I was corrected on that. Hester battling, one-time shot by Dorsey and trapped away by the Maverick tender. So we got a face-off to the left. Mankato. Dorsey on the draw. Mavericks cycle behind the net, held up by Ewers. Good job as he stops him cold. Slides up the near side wall. Mavericks now looking to break out, held short by Ewers. Good job. Working it on the wall, banging. Hester banging, a lot of banging. Back to the point. Held up Potts, now sweeping around is Hester. Hester looks, dishes it down deep. Puck slung around to the near side corner. The Mavericks are held down in their zone. From behind the cage, Mavericks look to break out. Disruption there by Hester, and the puck is sent all the way down for an icing. There's Nolan, Kervita, Wilkins, Mizzelt, Darlene. Off the draw, comes back to Darlene, one-time cranker. Steered aside. Mizzelt from the corner, sliding out front, no one home, there it is, Kervita. Nothing, as the puck is sent down for what is indeed an icing. So we'll do it again. Off the draw, Mavericks from the corner, and they sling it around the near side. Up on the wall, sliding it across. Mavericks now breaking across the line. From the circle, right there, banging across the crease. Nobody home. Wilkins on the wall. Chips it up to Nolan. Nolan trying to slide it to Kervita. He's contained on the red line. Mavericks slide it D to D as they look up the near side. Now they reverse course and slide it over. Good stick check there by Kervita, and it's sent down into the Hornet end. Result from the corner, slides it back to Darlene. Chips it up to Kervita. Kervita, oh, and he's just picked off at the last second. Nolan tried to pick it off, and the Mavericks contained. Driving in on the dot, firing. Saved by Quick. Puck up on the wall. Mizzelt now through the neutral zone. He's going to gain on the left side. Sliding it across. Picked off by the Mavs, who counter back the other way. Right on the line. Looking across. Disrupted by the Hornets as Nolan looks from the backside. Sliding up to Ferrara. Ferrara now. Long stretch pass up to Darlene. Darlene across to Mizzelt. Mizzelt streaking in. He's held. He's fired. There's a penalty coming. Holding is the call. And with 11:53 on the clock, the Hornets will have a power. Why does it say, when did they get their sixth goal? Scoreboard says 6-3, but I don't recall a sixth goal. It's Nolan, Hester, and Kervita, backed up by Mizzelt and Bauer. Off the draw, Hornets try to contain as Bauer pinches on the wall. Comes away to Hester. Hester looking, driving around the net, looking for a lane. Nothing. Back to the point to Mizzelt. Mizzelt looks, fires, rebound, trapped away. The scoreboard has been corrected. It is indeed 5-3, not 6-3. Mavericks from behind the cage, ringing it around to the near side. Bauer meets his man on the wall. Mavericks trying to punch out, held by Kervita. Kervita sliding to Hester. Hester curls on the blue line, looks to Mizzelt. Mizzelt chips it down to Bauer. He walks in on the dot, fires. Over to Nolan on the far side. Nolan around the circle, looking. Driving it down to Hester. Hester now sliding in on the dot. Back to Nolan. Nolan looking, turning, burning. Back to Mizzelt. Mizzelt flips it up to Bauer and just skates over his stick blade. Kervita in, looking. Driving in on the dot, sending it back to Mizzelt. Mizzelt down to Bauer. Loses the handle. And the Mavs counter back the other way. 1-on-2 as they roll in. The Mavericks line change. Trying to slide it through. A bit too far. Nolan from behind the cage. Bauer tied up. Mavericks come away. Less than 1 minute in the man advantage as Mizzelt pulls away. Now from the backside. Long stretch pass up to Hester on his backside. And we get an icing. 44 seconds left in the man advantage. As Dorsey Ferrara and Potter roll on, backed up by Helmer and Potts. Ferrara on the draw to the left to Quickster. Buck into the corner with Helmer as he surveys. Looking up ice, looking. Stretch pass across to Dorsey. Dorsey now through the neutral zone. Looking at his options, rolling with speed across the line. Throwing it down deep. Potts is going to meet this in the corner. He slides it all the way back to the other side. Dorsey on the wall. Chipping it back down on the wall. Working it, and it sneaks out of the zone where Helmer picks it up. Helmer sliding it across to Potts. Potts up to Potter. Potter gains the line, throws it on net. It was like a curveball. Curved to the side. Dorsey looking. Back to the point. Helmer firing. There's it. In traffic. Dorsey again. Sliding across to Potts. Back to Helmer. Helmer drives in. Looks. Sends it down to Ferrara in the corner. Both teams at full strength. Ferrara wheeling, dealing in the corner. Look at the wheeling. He's wheeling it. Dorsey in to help out. And comes away to the Mavs as they now work through the neutral zone. Trying to gain on the left side. Stopped short by Helmer. Picked up on the line as the Mavs wait for onsides. Thrown down, steered aside by Quick. Less than 10 minutes to play. Thrown back to the point as the Mavs try to go D to D. It exits the zone. Here's Ferrara breaking. He's tripped. There's going to be a penalty. That was Ferrara. I've been corrected multiple times this game. That's Bergmeyer, Ferrara, and Wilkins on, backed up by Ewers and Darlene. Bergmeyer on the draw, comes away to Ferrara, who tries to send it back. Now he looks, slides it to Ewers. Ewers from the point, firing shot, rebound, yes, no! How did that not go in? It didn't, though. Up on the wall, Mavericks coming back with numbers as they roll down 3-2. Bergmeyer racing back. Stick checked away, but still held in the slot as they wheel around with the huge guy from the corner, sliding around to the near side. Wilkins battling his man on the wall, slides back down to the corner. Ewers just bounced off the huge guy. Now the huge guy rolling into the slot, picked off by Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer throwing it up to Darlene. Darlene punching it down into the Mavericks' end. Wilkins in on the corner, disrupting play. Bergmeyer battling the puck. Wilkins trying to come away. He does. Looking to center. Looking. Throwing it back to Ferrara in the corner. Ferrara sends it back to Darlene. Darlene from the point. Walks in on the circle. Looking. Cycles around. Looking more. A lot of looking as he keeps wheeling and dealing all the way around, leaving to Ewers. Ewers back to Darlene at the point. Walking in, firing. Goes wide. Can we contain the zone? No, we can't. Ewers from the backside. Looks up ice, sends it to Ferrara. Ferrara gains and punches it down into the Maverick zone. Thrown up on the wall. Darlene pinches. Holds the line into the slot area. Curling. Kravita just couldn't make the turn as the Mavericks now punch it down into the Hornet end. Bauer from the backside. Looks up ice. Slides it up to Wilkins. Wilkins punching it down into the Maverick end. 16 seconds left in the man advantage. And we get an icing. Score has been 5-3 for quite some time. As Nolan, Hester, and Kravita roll on, backed up by Mizzle and Bauer. Mizzle from the near side wall. Gains through the neutral zone. Gains the line. Tries to center it. Is there a trailer? Banging. Nothing. And the Mavericks counter with numbers back the other way. Through the neutral zone with speed. Rolling down. Mizzle trying to hold him to the outside. Centering across to a wide open Maverick. He couldn't turn the corner as it's pitched behind the net. Mizzled overskates. Mavericks looking to center. All the way back to the point. Knocked down. Picked up by Nolan. Nolan racing to the far wall. Pitches it up to Kurvita, who looks, and sends it to Hester. Hester rolling in against 3 Mavericks. Around a huge guy. Stopped short in the corner. Knocked off the puck. And the Mavericks counter back the other way. Held by Potts. Potts looks, sends it down, intercepted. But there's Bergmeyer. Back to the point. Potter looks, fires a long shot, and gloved away by Mankato. No, he dropped it. It's back behind. Nolan looking to center it around, firing. Yes, no, nothing. Potter from the wall, centering it again. Good pressure by the Hornets, but no pay dirt as it's sent down for an icing with 6:24 on the clock. Dorsey, Ferrara, Bergmeyer, Potter, Potts. Both teams at full strength. Potter pitches it down to Bergmeyer behind the cage. Bergmeyer looking, walking around. Quick shot off the side of the net. Now it's Ferrara's turn. Wheeling around, pitching it back to Potter at the point. Potter looks, dishes it back down, intercepted by the Mavs, and they turn back with numbers the other way through the neutral zone. Potter racing back. Mavs wheeling in, stopped, banged, rebound. Now here's a fast break for Bergmeyer. Rolling back the other way. Bergmeyer racing down the left side. Walks in. No call. Oh, yes, there is a call. And once again, with 5:51 on the clock, the Hornets will be on the power play. With Nolan, Hester, Kurvita, backed up by Mizzelt and Bauer. Nolan on the draw to the right of the Maverick tender. Puck sent down and cycled behind the net as Mavericks are pinned down deep in their zone. Looking from the corner. Trying to pinch it up the wall, held by Bauer. Hester in, boys digging at it. And the puck sneaks out of the zone and Mizzelt controls from the back end. Looking up ice. On Hester's backside, and this one's going to sneak down for an icing. .133 left in the man advantage, 5:24 on the clock. Time is ticking away for the Hornets. We need a goal. To state the obvious, as Ferrara, Ewers, and Bergmeyer roll on, backed up by Wilkins and Dahlin. Ewers from the corner, trying to punch it up to Bergmeyer. Sent into the slot, thrown across to Dahlin on the near side. Dahlin's got to reset from behind the cage. He surveys, he looks. Sends it up to Ferrara. Ferrara now pitches it across to Ewers. Ewers across the line, held up right there. No offsides called as the Mavericks punch it up the wall and out back to the Hornet end. 1 minute left in the man advantage. Dahlin stopping short. Looking up ice, sliding it across to Ferrara. Ferrara's got to reset. As the Hornets just can't seem to break it out of their zone. Wilkins from the near side. Trying to pitch it up the wall, and Ferrara dishes it down into the Maverick end. Ewers from the corner, dishing it back. A little bit too far for Dahlin to contain, and we'll do it again. Dahlin blows a tire, and he almost gave that puck up, but Wilkins was there to pick it up in the neutral zone, and he throws it down deep. 20 seconds left in the man advantage. Wilkins now driving. Dorsey, one-timer, nothing. Kurvita, one-timer. Back into the slot. Dorsey fires. Fires wide. Kurvita from the near side corner. Dishes it down to Dorsey. Dorsey pinned up on the wall. Mavericks come away. Both sides at full strength. Mavericks now entering the zone. 2-on-1 situation. Rolling in all the way across. One-timer, Clank City. Nothing. As the Mavs behind the net pressure the Hornets. Hornets trying to gain control. Dorsey pins his man up on the wall with 3.5 minutes to play. Dorsey dishes it up to Darlene. Darlene slides across to Kervita. Kervita through the neutral zone. Gains the line on the right side. Walks in. Tries to fire. Loses the handle. Picked up by Potts. Potts now driving in. Potts fires. Hits traffic. Potter pinches up. Holds the zone. Mavs looking to chisel it up the wall. Stolen by Hester. Behind the net. All the way up. Huge guy looking at his options. Knocked off the puck. Held into the zone. Good job by the Hornets. As the Mavs are having trouble punching it out. On the far side. Hester intercepts. Centers. Fires. Rebound. Ewers. Fires again. More traffic. Hornets just not having the puck luck as the Mavs punch it across the line and it's intercepted. Hester racing to get it. Picked off of the Mavs as they send it back to the backside and look to work up through the neutral zone. We get an offsides. 2:29 on the clock. 5-3 on the scoreboard. It's now or never, boys. Does Nolan, Hester, Bergmeyer roll on? No, it's Ferrara. Backed up by Potts and Potter. Potter throwing it down into the Maverick end, and we get a high sticking. Off the draw, Bergmeyer sending it across to Potts. Potts back to Potter. Potter throwing it in on the net. Cycling behind, Nolan trying to dig it out. Mavericks come away and they cycle up the ice. Trying to get a breakout going. This guy's going to take it coast to coast. This puck is intercepted right in the slot but held in the zone. Back to the point. A weak shot steered away by Potts. He punches it over to Darlene. Bergmeyer throwing it up on the wall. Still contained by the Mavs as they drive around the circle. Pass deflected away. Hornets are having trouble getting out of the zone and gaining possession. Puck sent down. Potter retrieves behind the net and looks up ice to Kervita. Kervita dishes it up to Nolan, but it's intercepted. From the backside with 1:33 left. Mavs look to break out. Nolan punching it down into the Mavericks' end as Kervita tries to gain possession. Nolan tries to hold short on the line. Ferrara from the red line. Cycles around. Looks for options. Punches it down into the the Maverick end. Rink wide, ringed around. Bauer meets his man on the wall. Punch through, Dorsey holds his own and throws it right back down. Wilkins in on the chase from the corner. Centering pass, banging shot by Kervita, nothing. Ferrara trying to hold the line and is punched out. Bauer cleans up on the backside with 49 seconds. He leaves it for Wilkins. Wilkins sliding it up to Dorsey, just beyond his stick, still chasing all the way around the net. Mavericks from the corner, content just to play keep away. Throwing it up on the far side wall, and they punch it out of the zone where Nolan picks it up on the backside. 30 seconds left. A pass up to Wilkins on the backside, and we should get an icing with 25 seconds left. As the Hornets had pulled quick, but now he's got to return to his station between the pipes. So, Dorsey, Ewers, Wilkins, Helmer, Bauer. Back to the Maverick point. Slide it up on the wall. It's pitched up. Can they hold the zone? They do. Still battling. Into the high slot. Long shot. Waffled away by Quick. Puck into the corner for Bauer. Pitches it up on the wall. Ewers trying to punch through. He's boxed out by a huge guy. And we get an interference call. Hey, we got a 6.5 second penalty. Man advantage. So Quickie heads to the bench. We got Nolan Wilkins, Hester, Ewers, Bauer, Helmer. Off the draw, puck comes back just over Ewers' stick. Now Ewers from the top of the circle tries to drive down, rebound, saved. And that's the end of the contest. The Hornets go down 5-3 on a great first period, and then the wheels sort of came off. Nonetheless, Mankato is a very highly ranked team, second or third in state. And the Hornets will have to take a break, refuel, and hit the ice this afternoon, where we will be taking on Austin. And we'll try to turn the tide and get back into the win column. So until then, have a good mid-afternoon.